Welcome to the Explainer. Okay, let's dive into this. If you've been tracking the UK weather recently, you might actually feel like you're looking at forecasts for two completely different countries. Based on the latest Met Office data from July 2026, we're seeing this dramatic, almost theatrical split right down the middle of the nation. I mean, we're talking about a massive north-south divide here, and it's literally dictating everything from how you sleep at night to whether you're grabbing an umbrella or slathering on sunscreen. So let's unpack exactly what's happening right above our heads.
So, here's the big question we're tackling today. How exactly is it that a relatively small island nation is currently split into two totally different weather realities? Up in the northwest, folks are dealing with damp, cloudy conditions. Meanwhile, down in the south, people are quite literally sweltering in intense, hazy sunshine. Well, to understand why your own backyard feels the way it does right now, we actually have to look much, much higher up.
Section 1. The view from space, tracing the divide from the Atlantic.
So the crucial point here is the mechanism driving all of this, right? The jet stream. Now, as you know, it's a powerful, high-altitude band of wind. And right now, this invisible force is just sitting out there in the Atlantic Ocean, basically acting like a giant conveyor belt. It's actively pushing weather systems toward the UK. But, and here's the kicker, they aren't just moving in a straight line. They're toppling and pivoting around this massive, stubborn area of high pressure. This clash of atmospheric titans is absolutely the main culprit, steering this bizarrely contrasted weather across the country.
Let's break down this atmospheric chain reaction step by step. First off, the jet stream essentially stalls out in the Atlantic. Then, as those incoming weather systems hit that massive block of high pressure, they're forced to pivot. And the result of that sudden pivot? Huge amounts of cloud cover get forcefully spread southward. But, and this is key, only across the northern parts of the UK. This highly specific physical setup is exactly why northern England is seeing light, patchy rain, and the northwest of Scotland is staying, well, decidedly damp.
Section 2. A tale of two regions, contrasting the north and south.
And this brilliantly illustrates the seriously jarring environmental contrast we're dealing with. Up north, the Met Office notes a blanket of cloud. This is bringing light, patchy rain and dampness to places like northwest Scotland, though, it actually keeps things quite comfortable. But down south, totally different story. That region is completely dominated by hazy sunshine and intense heat, save for just a bit of mist and murk lingering around the coasts in the southwest, down toward the Isles of Scilly.
Okay, let's talk about that southern heat, because the numbers here are frankly staggering. 34 degrees Celsius. It hit that yesterday, sits at a punishing 32 or 33 today, and is forecasted to bounce right back up to 34 again tomorrow. The southern half of the UK is essentially baking. We're seeing this intense heat stretching through parts of the Midlands into southeast Wales, and it's completely dominating the southeast.
Now, what's really interesting about this contrast is the flip side, mid-teens. Seriously, while the southeast is pushing the mid-30s, western Scotland is sitting right around 15 degrees Celsius. Think about that. A drive of just a few hours means a temperature drop of nearly 20 degrees. It's an absolute, sharply defined split across a relatively small landmass, showcasing exactly how localized atmospheric pressure can just completely fracture the climate of a single island.
And when we map these raw numbers against the mid-July averages, the physics and the sheer scale of this divide become even starker. Down in the southeast, temperatures are sitting well above the typical average for this time of year, but jump up to western Scotland, and they're actually below average. Literally one half of the country is baking in unseasonable heat, while the other is bundled up in unusually cool, damp weather. It's crazy. And the split doesn't just disappear when the sun goes down, either. Overnight, the southeast is looking at lows of around 18 to 19 degrees Celsius. Now that is a warm, pretty uncomfortable night for sleeping. Meanwhile, elsewhere in the country, you're looking at much more manageable temperatures, right around 14 to 17 degrees. I guess the one silver lining for folks in the south is that while it is uncomfortably hot, it really isn't quite as intensely humid as that brutal heat wave we saw back in June.
Section 3. Impacts and next steps, shifting averages, and practical takeaways.
Let's move on and see how this builds, because the narrative really starts to evolve as we head into Wednesday. The heat is actually going to start extending further north. That thick northern blanket of cloud, it's expected to thin out, which means much better chances for blue skies over northern England, northern Ireland, and eastern Scotland. And as that sun breaks through, temperatures will start climbing right up into the mid-20s in those areas, pushing them significantly above their usual mid-July averages as well.
So, what should you actually take away from all this data? First off, the July sun is incredibly strong right now. No matter where you are, if those clouds break, UV levels are going to be high or even very high. So, for sure, sunscreen is an absolute must. Second, pollen levels are also spiking across multiple areas right now, so allergy sufferers definitely need to be prepared. And finally, if you're heading out to the coast to escape the heat, just be aware that you might still run into some lingering mist and murk. Though, hey, you'll also get the benefit of some really nice cooling sea breezes.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this thought. What powerful, invisible atmospheric forces are shaping the weather above your roof at this very second? It is just fascinating to realize that a band of wind sitting thousands of miles away in the Atlantic can dictate whether you're shivering in the mid-teens or sweating in the mid-30s. Stay curious, keep an eye on your local forecasts to navigate this amazing weather divide, and I'll catch you on the next one.